Can we turn to Black Lives Matter in our remaining minutes? Thank you very much. The co-founder is named Patrisse Cullors. She calls herself a trained Marxist. Money flew into the Black Lives Matter coffers, and she admitted she was shocked. She said, quote, "That was a lot of white guilt money. It was a major shock. That's a lot of white folks being like, we just got to put the money," end of quote. It shows you how she doesn't understand this country. She doesn't understand the huge, huge guilt that whites feel because of slavery, which they had no part of, because of Jim Crow, which they had no part of. I've often said, whoever called compound interest the greatest force in the universe, and it's often been attributed to Albert Einstein, although there's no evidence he ever said it. I've often said, whoever said compound interest was the greatest force in the universe never encountered white guilt. Now, regarding the failure of Black Lives Matter to fill out the appropriate forms, to keep up the appropriate counting, Cullors said that being accused of mismanaging Black Lives Matter is like triggering. That's a new word now for racism. Can you please play number 6, Mr. C?
I want to start first with what does it look like to set a standard for accountability and transparency that's maybe not existed before and is probably unfairly placed upon us, but it is still an opportunity to do something different? Because to be honest, I want to know who's digging into United Way's 990s, who's digging into these philanthropic organizations, these foundations who only give away 5% of their budgets a year.
Yep.
But comes first for the Black-led organization that we know got money. Hello, ACLU, y'all got money. But nobody's asking for their 990s.
That's right.
And so this is still an opportunity.
Yes.
It is a painful
Yes.
It is a painful opportunity that comes at a cost. But what is the...
By the way, what do you mean nobody's asking for their 990s? It's a form you have to file as a nonprofit. Nobody's asking for their 990s. How do you even know that? She just made an assertion, oh, no one's looking into them, but they're looking into you because you're Black?
Opportunity to set a new standard for transparency and accountability that hopefully will be willing to ask across the board and not just of the Black woman-led organization that seems to...
By the way, Al Sharpton runs a nonprofit called the National Action Network. Years ago, it was determined that he was $5 million light in his payments, taxes. And he was not pleased. He implied he was a victim of racism. Can I continue the quote?
Will always be setting the new standards.
That's exactly right. It's a really good question. I think, you know, first of all, number one, I actually did not know what 990s were before all of this happened.
It's confusing.
Well, if you don't know what a 990 is, well, obviously failing to file one means that you should be held harmless, because if you don't know what it is, well, you're not responsible for knowing what it is, right?
So part of the opportunity here is to educate our folks. Like, something's being weaponized against us that many people don't even know and honestly don't care about.
Weaponized. Asking me to turn over my 990 to fill out exactly the appropriate forms is weaponized.
I didn't know about them until they started asking us for them for COVID relief funds. I said, you need my 990. I had to call the accountant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the accountant handled that. Like, I don't know what that is. It is such a trip.
So she just threw the accountant under the bus. Are you now accusing the accountant of not doing what the accountant should be doing?
Now, to hear the word, the term 990s, I'm like,
I wonder if the accountant is Black.
Like, it's like triggering.
I want to start first with
it's like triggering. for me to be held up to the same standard as anybody else, it's 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 like triggering. I'm Larry Elder, and this has been the Larry Elder Show for Epic Times. Don't get triggered. I'll see you next time.